Alright guys, week 26, Game Maker Tutorials Live. This is John from Carrot Studios, and we're going to do some menu stuff today. I'm going to show you how to make your menu work in the simplest way I can think of possible, and we're going to make it juicy. We're going to give it some splash and some color and some movement so it doesn't look so static and boring. This tutorial shouldn't take long, so strap in and it won't be that long. You don't have to sit here for an hour for this one, so let's get started. First, I usually always have a variable that controls the state machine that we're going to be doing for the menu. That's how I work on them. I make a simple state machine for every state of the menu and its transitions. So you could have like your title screen pop in and like do some flashy stuff and then go to like another part of the menu with all the buttons and stuff. That's all controlled by like a single variable, and I like to call that mode. Mode or menu, it doesn't matter, but mode makes more sense. So you got your mode, and let's say that it starts at 0. So mode is 0, and we've got our menu items. This is the items that you can select with the mouse or keyboard. I'm going to do it with the mouse because that's just easier for a tutorial. And you just have to set how many items that you can touch with the mouse, that you can interact with per like mode of the menu for each state. So we'll do items 0 because we're at mode 0. This will be the array index when we use mode. So when we're actually doing our menu stuff, it'll look like this. So that's why this is 0. So item 0. This is how many items are in this state of the menu. So I don't want any in the first state, so we just set it to 0, and we can move on. Items 1 equals 1. Now we'll have 3. And then because there's 3 items in here, we're going to list the items out. So item 1 0 equals I guess play, settings, quit. Just a simple menu. And change the index for each one. This will be menu intro, main menu, settings, menu. Items 2 equals I guess for a settings menu you only need like 2 for a tutorial. Full screen, and I mean, what else could you do for now? Alright, I'll get to that in a second. We'll just set it to 2, and we'll do item 2 0 equals full screen. Item 2 1 equals something, and we'll get back to that because I can't think of anything right now. Alright, so that's pretty much done in the create event. I do want to add one thing or two, so I'm going to slide this down, put all the menu stuff together. These are just going to be a couple variables for the actual menu. So what we'll have is like menu y position equals negative 512. And you'll see why I do that in a second. We're going to create a simple title sprite. So sprite title. This is just going to be like the title logo for the game. Ba, ba, ba. We'll make it like, what, 256? Nah, like 320 by 192. Your game. Center it. And we gotta change the font, of course. Let's see, impact, just, it's standard. Bigger, bigger, bigger. That's too big. 48. And what we'll do, just make it look that way. Copy it. Is there any way to fade it to the color that's in your thing? I guess not. Your game. Pain. Game Maker, you're a pain. Your game. Okay. That's an easy title. Okay. Assuming you have a name for your game and like a title logo that you came up with, then you can start whatever you're doing here. So this isn't exactly how you're like supposed to do it. There's no way that you are supposed to do it. This is just how I do it, and it's really easy to remember. There's no hard steps. It's all pretty straightforward. So state machine, your go-to when you do a state machine is a switch statement. It's just, you're able to separate the states really easily. So we're switching the mode, and we have cases for the mode. And the case that we're going to start with is 0. So the title menu, I think, is what we called it. I want to be consistent. Menu intro, that's what we called it. Okay. Menu intro, indent again, so we know we're in this case, and add a break at the end so we don't forget that. And we'll just start it here. We'll do menu y position plus equals view h view divided by 2 minus menu y position times 0.2. Okay. And then if mouse check button pressed, mouse button left, mode equals 1. So skip the intro. And we also want to set the Y position to what we're trying to get it to. So what this code will do is, it starts at, the menu Y position starts at negative 512. We're just going to slide it down to the middle of the view here. That's what this does. Like it fades it in, it tweens it. And then this, if you click, it'll just skip it, the animation, and it'll just go to it. So that's just how you do that. Case 1. Main menu. What we'll do is we'll just fade this out. Menu alpha equals 1. Oh, you know what? It'll be easier later if we do it at 0. So menu alpha equals 0. So back here we'll do draw sprite extended. We should also do it here too. I almost forgot. Draw sprite extended, sprite menu. Oh, it's title. Sum image 0. View with view divided by 2. And menu Y position. Scale 1 1. Position rotation 0. All this is up to your liking. I'm not doing this in any certain way. This is just how you could do it. We'll copy this so we don't have to write it again. And here, we just made the menu alpha variable set to 0. We're going to do menu alpha plus equals 1 minus menu alpha. So this will make the menu alpha slowly reach 1. So it'll fade in anything that you draw with this alpha. And we're going to reverse that for this. We're going to fade this out, so 1 minus menu alpha. Because it starts at 0, so it'll be full. And then this climbs to 1, so eventually it'll be 1 minus 1, which is 0. So it starts at 0, gets to 1, fades out. We'll do the opposite for the stuff that we want to fade in. So draw set alpha menu alpha, draw set color, C white, and we're going to draw a rectangle. I guess we'll do 0 view h view divided by 2 minus 128 view with view. We'll do the opposite. We'll do view h view divided by 2 plus 128. And it'll draw a bar in the middle of the screen, kind of. It's just wide. Draw set color, C black. Draw set alpha 1. Break. Alright, and that, I just want to make sure this all works, so we're going to put this in the room. So 800, 600. And because we're using view HView and view with view, you do want to set up views for this. You could do that with code, but this is just easier, in my opinion, to do it this way. Put our background in, and drop our object in. And that should do it. Your game, blah blah blah. Okay. I think I forgot something. Forgot to make it plus. Okay, that's fine. What else did I forget? I forgot to set an alarm. So, we're going to make our own alarm. Menu timer equals 120. Actually, because it's a tutorial, I'm going to make it shorter, just for the sake of the tutorial. So, we'll do menu timer minus minus. If menu timer is greater than 0, or menu timer equals 0. And menu Y position. Because we're dealing with this code right here, this will give you fractions. Your menu Y position will end up being a fraction for most of the time, until it actually reaches menu, or this, what you're trying to set it to. Yeah, so what you want to do is, if you're trying to check if the menu Y position is equal to this, it's only going to equal to that after a long time. It's going to be really close, but there's going to be a lot of fractions before it. It's almost too long. It's not normal to wait that long for it to try and equal that. So we just do a simple distance thing. So if absolute menu Y position minus view H view divided by 2. Is less than 4. And I'll just do more of these parentheses to make it look nicer. So what happens is, if you click it or the timer equals 0 and it's at where it's supposed to be in the middle of the view, it'll skip it, because you don't want to be sitting at the menu forever. And that should do it. Now it'll go up by itself. Your game, Flash, there's the menu. Now this is where we're going to draw the text on that white background. And personally, I don't want bright white, but this is just a tutorial, so I'm not worried about it. We're just going to grab a color for the background of the menu, just to show you that it looks nice. With some color on, like, behind the buttons. So what we'll do is, for var I equals 0, I is less than menu items. I think we just did items. I don't think we had menu items. And because we're in menu case 1, we're just going to do 1 I++. And this should loop through all of the menu items for this case. We could also do this. Doesn't matter. If you just want to be able to reuse the code, that's fine. But just so this is more clear that this is for this, we're going to do it that way. Menu buttons. And this would be menu background. Skip the intro. Yeah. Draw the logo. Same thing up there. Okay. So for this, we're just going to draw the buttons with some stuff behind them if it's selected. So go back to here. We're going to create a select value. So select equals -1, because we're not selecting anything. We might not want to select anything because there might not be any things in the menu. So if select equals I, because we're going to be looping through every single item in the menu, one of them is bound to be selected. So if the one we're selecting is currently, I guess, being used in the loop, if we found that one and it's selected, we're going to draw it differently than if it weren't selected. So we're just going to do that in the loop. And it's as simple as that. And we're just going to draw the text on top. So draw set color, see white. Draw text, menu. No, it's item 1, and then I. That's the string. This isn't the position. The position would be let me do it this way. View with view divided by 2 minus 120. I wanted to do it vertically, just so you could do a list better. What's up, Zoltaire? How you doing? Draw it from the bottom of the screen to the top. View H view. And this would be view with view divided by 2 plus 128. This is minus. So it'll be vertically instead of horizontally. I'm doing pretty good, you know. Can't complain. Got my room in order, got a haircut. I feel pretty good today. Gotta go back to work tomorrow. Lame. Makes an annoying noise. So we're gonna draw it separately if it's selected. I think I copied the wrong part. I have the, yeah. I thought I copied like the RGB values by selecting it like this, but you actually have to do this. So I usually just copy the top one and try and remember the bottom two ones. So 231 will be in my clipboard, 7660 I have to remember. Make color RGB, blah blah blah, 7660 if I'm right. So var color equals that. Otherwise, var color will equal this guy. And this one's 5743, I have to remember. $57.43. And there we go. Draw set color, and draw rectangle. We'll do view, view with view divided by 2 minus 64. We should also have another variable in here called string width. String width equals string width, and we'll have item 1i, but we're also going to add plus 8 on each side. So this will be useful for drawing the rectangle around the text behind it, for when you're selecting it. And when you're not selecting it, it's just going to be the regular size of the text plus 2, just for a little padding. This can actually be a little bit more dramatic with 12. So we'll do that. Minus string width, and then we'll do, we'll start, I guess, right at the top. We'll do 64 plus I times 64. Yeah, that's fine. We should also do string height equals string height item 1i divided by 2 plus 12. And we'll do the same thing down here, except we'll do plus 2 again, just for a little bit of padding again. So 64 minus string height we'll do the same thing for this thing except plus the string width, and then we'll do the same thing for this guy except plus the string height. And then this I times 64 will move it down for each iteration of the loop. And because we're looping through all the items, each item will get moved down a little bit. And we just outline it because we want an outlined thing. That should work. And that should be good for the first part of the menu. It's missing this right here. So draw the text here, and then draw it 64 plus I times 64. And one last thing before we actually draw the text. Before we do that, we're just going to set the way we draw the text. So draw set h-align to font align center, and draw set v-align fa middle. And that'll center the text for us. So it'll draw all nice. Your game. And now we don't have anything able to select it because there's no interaction. There's no changing the select variable, but this is what it'll look like. I kind of don't like how bright white that is, so I'm just going to do this. Divided by 2. Alright, and for these guys, if point in rectangle, mouse X, mouse Y, and because we have this drawing rectangle, we can actually just copy these variables right into it. We can use it as like a bounding box for if we can check where the mouse is. But because we don't have string width or string height yet, we're just going to do, oh wow, you know, I should have done this. String width half equals this. And then string height half equals string height, then divided by 2. Divided by 2, and we'll just use that in here. So string width half. And then string height half. And it'll make your code a little bit more readable. So this will actually just be plus 2, plus 2. Now you can clear cut and see the difference. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay. Now we can use these variables up here. So have plus 2, plus 2. I'm just changing this up again. Okay. String height half, string width half, string height half. So if we have the mouse X in that rectangle of the text, what we're going to do is just set select equals I. Missing a thing? Yeah. Okay. Now this should work to be able to select it. You're not going to be able to click it yet or do anything with it, but you can change the select variable. See? This is sort of how we did Rocket Rails. We used the keyboard and like arrow keys and WASD instead, so it's a little bit more complicated, and we added a lot more like effects to it. I'm just going to do a quick effect on it with using like a sine function, but this works pretty well. You can just add sound effects to it, like doink 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 doink, like whenever you mouse over it. Hey, in It's Enigma, GM means game maker. Game maker is a software it's like an IDE, integrated development environment for programming. It's like a little game engine, I guess, with its own scripting language, and this is just a tutorial for it. Have you ever heard of GameMaker? It's like, I would compare it to Unity, except it's really good for 2D instead of 3D. Oh, we can just do this. Back. And for the sign value, we'll just do this. Menu stuff. You're welcome. So, sign val equals 0. We'll start it off at 0. And then in the draw event, we're just going to add to that. Sign val plus equals 0.1 if sign val is greater than 2 pi. Or tall. Sign val equals 0. And the reason why I did 2 pi is because unit circle, if you've ever seen one, the period of a sine wave is 2 pi. You go up, and you go down, and it's the full unit circle. If not, brush up on your trig. It'll make sense, I promise. That's not just some value I pulled out of my ass. So we got sign val, then we're going to do, I guess, sign calculated equals sign val. Because we only really want to calculate it once. We don't want to calculate sign val like 10 times in our code. If it just all returns the same thing, we could just put it in a variable. So we're going to go down here and just add on a little bit to it. So plus sign calc times 2. And here we go, doing that again. Plus sign calc, plus sign calc. We can also do it to this, our menu background thing. So plus sign calc times 2, plus sign calc times 2. So sign calc can be a value from -1 to 1. This value right here can be -1 to 1. So calculated sign value -1 to 1. And what it does is it'll go smoothly from -1 to +1, smoothly come back. So -1, then to 1, stop sorta, and then start up again, ease in, ease out. It's a really nice easing function. You'll see it in action. Just bear with me for a second. And we just gotta, I think, actually we can make our lives easier and do this all in one place. You could do it in here. So plus there, plus there. I mean, this is a lot less readable, but you're only doing it in one place. Not doing it in 2 different places. That's another way to do it, but like I said, that's really not readable. That's not good for a tutorial, so I'm just going to keep it here. It doesn't matter where you put it, really, as long as it affects everything the same, which it would have in both places, and that should do it. Now you'll see everything has like a better movement effect. Oh, I forgot to... This should be doing this, not this. But I'll fix that in a second. But you can see how it shrinks and grows. And everything looks a little bit more dynamic. It's a little bit more lively. It's an age-old effect for games, so just cluing you in. Menu background, so this should be minus on this side as well. So now it won't do this, it'll just grow and shrink. and it looks good. It tells your players that the game is running still. It's not broken. I feel like the room is not at 60 frames per second. I might be wrong. Yeah, what? It just feels wrong. Okay. But we're good. So all we're going to do is select equals I. So we're going to come down here after we draw everything. So if mouse check button pressed, mouse button left. And then if select equals, we're going to go back to our menu buttons. Play would take you to a game. Settings will take you to the settings menu, and quit will quit the game. So if it equals 1, if select equals 1 in the first mode, the first case of the menu, we're going to go to the settings menu. So we're in the first case, and we're going to check if select is equal to 1. It's going to take us to the settings menu. So go to settings menu. And then we'll just do mode equals 2. And maybe we'll set menu Y position equals -512. And that should work. Same thing down here. Case 2, settings. And we could pretty much copy this code here. Copy all that. The only thing I kind of wanted to test it, but I don't think I have time. I don't want to make this tutorial too long. So we're just going to set this all to that and imagine that it's already done. Alright, so the menu background's good. Menu buttons, we just have to change this to 2 because now we're in the second case. We're in the settings menu. And change these to 2. Anything else we have to change? Probably, yes. Item here. Now, of course, again, you could just change this to mode, and you wouldn't have to change it each time, but for the sake of the tutorial, we're just going to show you how to do it. Excuse me. Now that we're in the settings menu, if we click and select is equal to 0, if we click a button, we're going to change the full screen, and if it's set to 1, if select is equal to 1 and we click, it'll take us back to the main menu. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do, but it shows you how to do everything. Everything that you want to do is you're now able to do from this tutorial. So we're going to go to the settings. If select is equal to 1, mode is equal to 1. And that should work. That'll take you back to the main menu. And change that to else if because we want to do this full screen thing. So if select is equal to 0, window set full screen. There is a lot of code in here, and it is drawing a lot, but when you think about it, it's only doing one case at a time. So it's only doing this, which is you're drawing a sprite, you're drawing a rectangle with some alpha, and you're drawing text with rectangles. It's not that much. It looks like a lot of code, but it is a lot of code. That's the problem. It's more code than there is code being run. So I've never had issues with optimization. That might just be my computer because I have a desktop and I built it myself. So, but I think it's pretty decent way to do it no matter what. If you have problems with optimization, you can always use, I guess, surfaces. Draw everything once to the surface and then draw the surface for all your effects and stuff. And if you want, you could make the text sprites. You could also not have a loop and you could draw it all yourself without the loop. And you could do this part outside of the loop, or cut it out entirely and use the keyboard or something. There's way to optimize it. But yeah, generally you don't want to put everything in the draw event. Because of the way that GameMaker handles graphics, usually it's an old version of DirectX, and the graphics pipeline isn't as optimized as like a general like C++ bare bones engine. So you have to kind of take that into account. And you don't want to waste performance. That's like a waste of energy, and it's pointless. So if you can optimize your code, it's cool. It's good. So this will set the full screen. And then if selected equal to 1, mode equals 1. This may or may not work because I'm using mouse X and mouse Y. I might have to change that variable. Because this is in the draw GUI too. So go to settings. Now we're in the settings menu. We can go back, and I want to see. Oh, I forgot to change something. Also, I wanted to change, so else if select is equal to 2, game end, because that's the quit button. That will fix that. I just forgot to flip it. So now we can go to settings, change the full screen. It doesn't change anything. Not exactly sure why I didn't change it. We'll just make a variable for this. Full screen equals full screen. And we'll just set it to false in the beginning because it's windowed in the beginning. So full screen equals false. Yeah, I don't know why that worked for me, or didn't work for me. I'll try yours real quick. Window get. Maybe it was because I called it outside of it. I don't know. Yeah, I think I got it. I probably wrote it right. Yeah, it's just not working. I don't know what's going on. Maybe you have to allow full screen in the global game settings or something. Windows, graphics, allow switching the full screens on. Weird. Weird. I'm using the right select button, right? Yeah, it's the only select button besides the back button. I did it in my other game, the one for the GM48 Rocket Rails, but I guess it's not working now. Let me see. Full screen equals full screen. And if this doesn't work, I don't know. Weird GameMaker stuff. Weird. That is really weird. I'm pretty sure it's like... It looks like it's moving the window, but it's not. This is so weird. Bug hunting 101. Just try something that you usually do. Okay, so that works. I don't understand that. it thinks that, yeah. Clean target and pray. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna do that. So, oh, that didn't. Full screen. Full screen equals full screen. No spelling errors to be found. This stuff is weird. Full screen equals false. So it starts off at false, starts at 0. There's no way that it doesn't turn to true. We're going to clean the target. If this doesn't work, I'm utterly confused as to why this doesn't work. What the hell? I'm going to set it to true in the beginning. Because I don't know why that wouldn't work. Let's see. Why would it just work with true, but it doesn't work with a variable? Okay, what is going on? Weird. Weird, weird, weird. Windows set full screen, full screen. It only works if it starts off as true. Oh, I did forget to pray. Oh, flying spaghetti monster. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do this. Show message async. You switched to full screen. I'll make another tutorial on how to do like the window settings, like fix everything. So you can do like windowed mode, bordered window mode, stuff like that. The window resizing stuff is just, that's a pain, so I should do my own tutorial to that for that. You switched to windowed mode. Okay. And full screen starts off at false. Blah, blah, blah. Seems like I need one. I don't need one. Game Maker needs one on how to freaking change. Alright, so I switched to windowed, switched to full screen. I don't know why that wasn't working, because it's obviously working here. That's weird as all hell. But now you can do this. You can quit. Gonna cut the tutorial short because that was the weirdest bug I've ever seen in my life. That just wasted time. Yeah, we're gonna upload this to YouTube right away, and I will work on eventually getting my site to work with the new tutorial system and also the old tutorials that I have uploaded to YouTube. Yeah, I should totally send this to Yo-Yo Games. I don't know why that didn't work. That was just odd. And I recorded it. It's on stream, so take that, Yo-Yo Games. You don't even need an executable or the source file. You can just watch the stream. See how buggy it is. Alright, that's a good menu. Well, not a good menu, but it's a working menu. I'd say it's a good menu, but then again, I'm not the best programmer in the world. This is not the best way to do it. This is probably one of the easiest ways to do it. You cannot mess up. Unless, of course, you forget to copy something over. Each state has its own confined separated code, and it doesn't really get messy. You just look at the state, look what's happening in that state. Look in this state, look what's happening in this state, and debug that state by itself. There's no webs of code. It's all separatable. So Hope you like it. I will catch you guys later after I write this break state keyword, because I forgot that keyword. Bad coding habits. Don't do that. I'll catch you guys next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here making a tutorial probably on window resizing and getting your game to fit the window or fit the full screen, whatever you want to do. Maybe even get the borderless window thing working the way you want it to. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next week, guys. If you have your own requests, I got the Twitch bot working now, so you should have the links now. Alright, I'll see you later, guys. See you on week 27.